Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, on behalf of your Denver-based podcast crew, we appreciate you joining us for the Friendly Vibes.
Coming to you live from TSS Universidad. This is a crossover episode of men who have legs that could cross over countries. It's a very tall episode here
rivers.
today, folks.
Dude.
Very basketball-centric episode. Sam is here with us on production.
What up?
Yep.
Hell yeah, to have our guest, the very splendid host of the Stretch Yourself podcast.
Yes.
Jared Chandler, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the man. I'm
Thanks
so bad with
me.
names.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a backstory. And I'm going to tell new fans a backstory.
Yeah.
How bad I am with names. When this guy, my old friend, the guy I played freshman basketball with, came on my podcast, I called him by my other friend's name in his introduction.
Nice.
Yeah,
and you guys have known each other for a long time.
Yes, sir. And then I had to do a whole podcast and make a bit out of it and really want to kill myself.
Do you have like ADHD or anything?
Yeah, certainly.
I feel like that's like a byproduct of that. It's just like I got something else back here and then I see your face and I connect the two and then I say a completely different thing.
Yes, I've always been like a faces person. Also, I read a book really young. It was like, you need to learn names. Names is the most important thing. And it truly
was it How to Win Friends and Influence People?
I just gave it to him. Update. Let's get an update, live update. You've done homework? Have you read it?
I've gazed through.
Jesus.
I know.
You can give a man a fish, but you can't teach him to fish. He's got to want to learn.
You can't teach him to eat it. No, that's a good book. Yeah, it's got a lot of important. I feel like I've listened to another podcast where they like a lot of people disagree with some of the.
It's like well hated on nowadays, right?
Yeah, but it's like at the same time, it's like it's more of just like here's how to do well in like a business marketing setting, but don't necessarily take this as part of your character. You know, that's what I gleaned from it at least.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. Well, it should be like all things where you can take parts of it as positive or constructive 100%. And take away. You 100%. Don't have to embrace in the full theology of whatever that.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that way about a lot of like stand up too, and a lot about like because people like try to take the full like you can like certain things about something and disagree with others or not like certain parts or done something differently, but you don't have to like completely dismantle a person based on like one special or something like that. You know,
and like the modern social media landscape is just full of just ad hominem attacks. Like people just go at people's characters and ideas of things, and they scare man them. Or whatever.
I feel like
strong man. You know, they say people are saying things that they aren't saying, and then they say that that's unfair.
Right. Yeah. Projecting.
Tear down their art form.
100%. Yeah. And I feel like that's a byproduct of like if you're on it for too much, like that's how I start to feel when I'm on it for too much because I'm not doing the things that I wish I was doing that they're doing. So I'm just like, so I get mad. So I want to comment on, I'm like, this isn't even shit. And then I'm like, well, if I do the stuff that I actually want to be doing, I don't feel that way anymore. Like it's only when I'm sucked. Yeah. It's only when I'm getting sucked into the phone that like I start to get like bitter about it because I'm not actually out there doing it, you know?
So let me give you a proper introduction for people who don't know you. You're a stand-up comedian here in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
You host this awesome podcast that I really like, where you're talking to people about difficult situations where they've grown, places they've put themselves in uncomfortable spots that they've found adversity in their lives.
100%, yeah.
And that's got to be a great way. I mean, I think I've kind of done that unintentionally through this show in some of my episodes, gotten to talk to people about the things they love the most and the hardest things they've been through.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I love doing it is because like I love getting to connect with people. This is Sean Connolly, by the way, for the Stretch Yourself listeners. Yes. Also a great podcaster. And I love like because like the podcast format, I love it for that because you just you can't not get to that point, where like you get to really get to know someone a little bit better. And like, you don't get to have these conversations just wide ride or something like that. It's very brief, like interactions and stuff. So I like to go a little bit deeper and get to know somebody. Cause now when I see you out and about, like we'll always have this connection, and we'll always get to share this,
I when I started the pod, I was having like old friends that I hadn't seen in 5 years.
Yeah.
Like whatever, since high school, since way back in the day on and stuff. Cause I'm just looking for people to talk to. Right.
Right.
During the pandemic, I'm asking this question to my guests. I'm like, how long has it been since you sat down face to face with someone for more than an hour and just talked? That isn't a loved one, isn't a spouse, isn't a family member that lives in your house.
Yeah.
Not to get all Dr. Susie with it, right?
In a house with a mouse.
Yeah. I mean, and the answers I was getting was appalling. I was getting like 3 months. It's been a year and a half.
Yeah.
It's been a year. It's been 2 months.
Yeah.
Like no one gave me an answer under 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's scary.
100%.
That's not good for people.
This is during COVID?
During like the back end, tail end, of trailing end of COVID.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it is scary because, I used to do it all the time. Like there was a coffee shop that opened near my high school, and we used to love to just go down there and hang out. And I remember like before, like when podcasts were still becoming a thing, and we would have long conversations with my friends. I'm like, we should be recording this, you know? Of course it was garbage like back then, but that was like a thought I had, and I was like kind of interested in it, you know? So I'm surprised it took me this long to start doing it, you know?
Absolutely. It was, I had the same kind of thing where I was like, we should fucking record this.
Yeah,
this
so
is
funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Not even at all.
Yeah. What were some of your other like creative projects that you used to do when you were younger?
Dude, that's a terrible... Is this not the tough question for me? Yeah. This guy, the producer just went like this for those of you. There's no camera on Sam yet. But in high school, my friend... I was like very academic. I liked school. Yeah. I liked learning. I was curious. Mm-hmm. But I also, my brain just fucking fought me. Mm-hmm. And so I was like a sophomore and I was struggling. I'd struggled for a lot of years at this point, and I'm like kind of lost. And some of my friends are finding relief through marijuana. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, fucking, I gotta try this stuff. And I grew up in kind of conservative house.
I bet it's pretty boring out where you grew up.
I mean, it was to some extent. I mean, and I'm sure
it's superior
comparatively. It depends where you go. It's certainly
what would people get into? ATVs.
Man. The cops are pulling you over for going 5 over, not even 4. I mean, like it's, yeah. They got nothing to. They're just busting kids for smoking. When I happened to run into that at one point too. But anyway, long story short, I grew up in the conservative household. Drugs were drugs in my house. So it was like same. So it's like meth is like weed is like heroin.
Yes.
We don't do drugs.
100%.
You don't fucking do drugs.
Right.
And so I'm like scared. Mm-hmm. So I read. I'm curious. So I'm like, I read a book about the socio-political history of marijuana, about the neurological impacts of the drug. What is the drug, and like the history of where it comes from. Yeah. All these things. And then one that was like a little more like, off the wall kind of opinion based thing about holistically looking at it. Whether it's going to really, does it turn you gay kind of thing? It doesn't. So I read all these books. I come to a conclusion. Yeah, I agree. It's not going to turn me gay. I'll try it. And so I try it, and I found some relief through it. Eventually become a medical user, and like it helps me for a mental side, and then eventually helping me for physical.
Gotcha.
I got a fuse spine. Long story short.
Sure.
So, I guess it seems like maybe you have a similar interaction. Have you ever done marijuana? You come from a conservative background?
Yeah, kind of a similar story actually, but like because the more I learned about weed, the more I was like, this is because I started reading up after I smoked for the first time, but like that just made me more convinced that I was like, okay, like I'm okay. Like this isn't a bad thing, but like.
So it was for reassurance at that point.
A little bit. Yeah. And also just like wanting to know about it more and more, wanting to know about like, just like how it works.
Cool.
Like,
how do I do it? Yeah.
How do I do this better? How do I get good at this?
Yeah, exactly.
How do I roll a good joint so I can impress my friends?
One-handed, huh?
Yeah. Exactly. I got really good at it. But yeah, like I remember like I smoked with comedians like for the first time at an open mic, and
first time smoking ever.
Wow. I was really curious, and like people were it was in Fort Collins, and like people were casually smoking weed at this point.
How old were you?
I was 19. Okay. This is 2016.
Okay.
And so I kind of like lingered around like some comics, and he's like, do you want to? And I'm like, sure. And like I hit like this pipe for the first time, and like I'm just standing there, I'm like, I don't feel anything. And then like I look at my watch, I'm like, it's been 30 seconds and it feels like way longer than that, and then like I take another hit, and then we just had a grand old time. That was my first time. Second time, smoked too much and got real sick. But then like just in college, like I still do pretty recreationally now, but yeah.
So in a roundabout way to answer your original question about creative endeavors of mine, so I had tried this in high school, and I get to the point where I'm doing dabs with a couple of my buddies for medical purposes. Myself. Well, truly.
In high school?
In high school.
Okay, wow.
While getting a 4.4.
Nice. Hell yeah.
And so I am like fucking creative, and I don't have an outlet. And my outlet for this is this Instagram page called Sean Dabs for the Fans.
No.
where I'm producing these like 1 minute, 30-second, 15-second clips to music that is well timed, well like shot, executed with my buddy who's like wants to shoot fun, like good videography that has, you know, $100, $1,000 rigs.
Wow.
So we're just having fun with it, dude. That was our creative outlet. And
wow.
I guess
how expensive are these rigs?
There were some that were pretty heavy hitters. You know, his dad liked it type of thing.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know, it's not just him type of thing.
Okay, nice. That's crazy. Yeah, that's fun though,
but
dude.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So silly, so
what a
fun.
great,
we had a great time with it. But
talk about like taking the things you know and using the...
So bad. But like, you know, I'm still doing the things I have to do and it's getting me through. Yeah. Like I'm not hurting myself. I haven't hurt myself. 100%. I haven't hurt anyone else. It's getting me through.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about weed is that
no one's getting hurt. I have a creative outlet. People are like, these are fun. We like these videos.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So gains of following. The like, you know, conclusion of this is that I get a superlative in the yearbook with another Sean. So I put him on my shoulders to take a picture, and I'm dabbing for the best buds. And they asked for a quote. And my quote was for the fans.
For the fans.
Yeah.
Oh,
and the edit of the yearbook goes to the, you know, teacher, associate, reviewer.
Yeah.
She's like, you can't print this quote.
For the fans?
It's a reference to his dab Instagram page.
Oh, man. I was hoping that they wouldn't know what we were doing. Right. And just be like...
And I was trying to pass it off with the physical comedy, too.
See, that's the thing about growing up in a small town or a small school.
The teacher... Sorry, to finish. Sorry. Yeah. The teacher's like, Sean... Like, who? Sean? No. Print the quote.
He'll be
fine.
So
they ended up printing the fucking quote in my like senior yearbook.
No way.
So there's me with my buddy on my shoulders dabbing for the fans.
Oh, that's so great.
The creative,
man.
But it's gone. It's nuked. Long gone. Because I had to, you know, progress and get that bag and go to college and do the job and all that. Right?
Yeah,
can't leave that stuff in the ether, unfortunately.
Yeah.
For medical purposes or not. Even if it's art, which it was.
So like there's it's not in the yearbook?
Was it not art? It was art.
Oh no, it's in the yearbook. I'm just saying the Instagram.
Oh, the Instagram's gone. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Got to do it. Yeah. What about you? What did you have growing up for creative outlets? Do you like photography? I also was big into nature photography, adventuring, and that stuff.
You know, I'm just now getting more into photography as like it's a creative outlet for me, but it's also kind of a side hustle for me right now. So I'm about to get a portfolio put together of like all the work I've been doing to like put that out there. So if people want like affordable headshots and stuff.
I heard you talking about that on your podcast about how you've been taking photos at the shows you host and trying to, you know, give that back to comedians and seeing it as a way to grow in your art as well as give back to other people that are helping you by being on your show.
I love
helping that grow.
Yeah, it's so fun and like I get a lot of joy out of doing it because it's so like satisfying and like aesthetically pleasing, you know, to like
capture the moment
in my room, you know, like nothing better, you know. And so and then you get to give that back to the comics and like so it's mutually beneficial, and then to see it get posted other places or used for a flyer or something, I'm just like, damn, look at me go, you know, like yeah, dude, it's sick,
man. That's
so
awesome.
But it took me a while to like the podcasting, the photography, like that all took me a while to like give myself permission to do it, which is
because you have a job, because you had these things, or why?
Yeah, because but also like in school, like coming up high school and like college, like a lot of my friends were more into photography than I was and stuff. So like and like a lot of people I knew were like, you know, wedding photographers or whatever. So I felt kind of like, you know, I didn't want to hop on like a bandwagon of sorts where I was like, oh yeah, me too, you know, but and like
be behind the race, right?
Yeah. It's like, it's weird to do that for a high schooler. Like, I think
there's this hard underlying social pressure that it's hard to define.
Yeah. Cause these are your peers that are like, you share a classroom with and stuff. So it's harder, I think, to take new steps, creatively. Because it gets so much attention, you know, but like as an adult, like you can just do whatever you want. And it's like, no one like cares until you're good. So like, but so you put in the groundwork like ahead of time, and then all of a sudden people
build
think
in the dark. You have to build
exactly.
In the dark,
Yeah. And then you're an overnight success. And it's like, well, there's 10 years behind this, but, that's at least what I've gleaned from studying, a lot of successful people, but,
absolutely.
Where was I going with that? Oh, like just, so I didn't do a ton of photography growing up, but like I was always involved in like the arts. So I was like, because I went to a small school, so like they needed people on the roster for everything, for sports, for music, for everything. So I played saxophone.
Wow.
I was in theater,
it, bro.
I don't really. I probably couldn't do it very well now, but I still have it. It's like in the storage. But because I got I played an alto, and then I got a tenor as a graduation gift for graduating high school.
Tenor, I hardly know her.
Yeah. So yeah, and I was doing theater. I was doing choir and honor choir and all the good stuff. So I was involved. I was on stage a lot
You were
doing
honor
stuff.
choir?
Yeah, at my
Hard
small
to get
school.
honor choir.
Yeah, I tried
Keep
out for
going,
Allstate,
I
and
haven't been listening too much Harlan. We've been talking about it, but it's infecting my brain. It like makes you think about like fucking words differently. Everything's like silly. It's bad.
what is it
Harlan
called?
Williams. Have you seen any of his comedy?
Oh, I don't know.
Harlan Williams.
Probably.
He's like this guy right here. That poster in the second one from the left.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
in Rocket Man. He's been doing it like movies for a long time. He's
Oh,
been in
nice.
a bunch of.
He looks like a movie star. He looks like a British like movie star.
Yeah, I love that headshot. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. Anyway, but like he has infected my mind with the way he approaches
Okay.
words and comedy.
I love
It's
that.
just-
I like Dimitri Martin for that reason.
right.
And Stephen Wright and like all those guys who are like wordsmiths, you know.
Yes.
I love those guys.
I just my brain doesn't stop working, and I think it has to go sometimes to that silly outlet of just like multiple meanings of words and irony and puns and silly
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Are you a stand-up? We
am,
talked
yeah.
a little bit about at Wide Right, and like how you got more involved, like podcasting stand-up folks
Mhm.
and stuff.
Yeah, I started. I guess my first mic would have been in college when I was working at a club in Iowa at
Okay.
Penguins in Cedar Rapids.
Cool.
Yeah, so I started there.
Good club.
Yeah, I mean, fun basement room, perfect. What you
Oh,
want to
sick.
have like a 200-seater room.
Hell
with
yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, great room, great place to learn about the art form. As a you think you know what this is watching it on Netflix. Go and work in the thing and realize that
For
you
real.
don't know shit about dick.
For real, dude. Yeah, I feel that way every time I see like Sam Talent or like any of like when you see it done so well, like on a local level, like at High Plains or something. Have you been around for that?
I long have said that the best show. People ask, "What's the best show you've ever seen?" And it's tough. The best show I've ever seen was this tiny little show with 15 people.
Mhm.
That Sunday Funday show that Alec Flynn hosted, that Brian Sullivan was on, and Sam was the headliner, and he just went around the room and did the most esoterically remove but current reference pulling, crowd work based, random, in the moment, beautiful art form mastery I've
So
ever
good.
seen in my life.
That lights a fire under my butt, dude. Seeing that, man, makes me so mad that I'm not them, dude.
No, why did it make you mad? Tell me about that.
Or like, so like whenever I see like,
Oh, because I don't feel that at all. Because I'd like to understand. Because my feeling is just like a full appreciation of like, holy fucking shit, this is perfect. And this
Yeah.
took a lifetime of work and appreciation and building of a person and creativity and building of all these little things to go into this art form of stand-up.
here's my reactions. Okay, I'm clapping, the show is over, and I feel exactly what you just described. I go, man, that was so good. And then I start to walk away, and I'm walking back to my car, and I go, I need to start fucking writing. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm just shaking my keys, and I'm just like, fuck, because I can see it's right next to me. It's right in my back door. You know, it's so close. Like, it's so like achievable. You know, like that's what I mean by that. Is like, because I read a lot about like talent and how it's built and how it's like it's a brain thing, and like you're firing those neurons over and over again, and it wraps it with myelin, and it shortens the circuit in your brain to that firing of the neurons, so that the more you repeat something, the better you get at it. And so that's why reps and writing, I want to get that like tattooed on me somewhere, because like that's my mantra when it comes to art and stand up, is just like reps and writing, just like keep at it, you know.
Absolutely. Well, keep at it. I was going to say, if I could be like an encouraging, angel on your shoulder,
Mhm.
it's you're at it. You know what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. When I sit down to say, oh, after that, I need to fucking write. It is a recognition of the process.
Oh yeah.
It
Totally.
is not that you don't have it.
Right.
It is not that you're lacking of it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a recognition of the process to
Yes.
come.
Totally.
And like, if you appreciate,
That's a great reframing
if
of it.
you
I love
like
that.
approach that with like a pure, unlimited love heart,
Mhm.
then you're set, dude. Like you said, the neurons are going to work themselves out on their own.
You're right. Yeah.
No, and like, it's not that
hard.
you're
It's
wrong,
hard to
but, like,
remember
I said,
that. You know,
it's
like
so tough.
yeah. It's hard to remember that when you're like grinding it out.
And
Like
when you're like you said, maybe scraping by or losing money to
Mhm.
to try to get better, to do
Mhm.
the art form. Like, that's so tough, dude.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like to have the right mindset while doing that and not be bitter and not be frustrated. And,
Totally. Yeah. Especially because you ride those waves, where it's like you're up high and it's easy to feel good, and like you're getting booked and stuff, and then like you're in the pits, and it's like, yeah, you're scraping and you're looking at all the success around you, and you're just like, fuck, like man, but you gotta recognize that like it's all part of the process.
Well,
for sure.
as a door guy that's worked at 2 clubs now, one in the Midwest and here at Comedy Works South, I have seen and I've been lucky to kind of reflect and appreciate on people who come in that they have a career, they can sell tickets, or maybe they're in a downslope of that, and they're really fucking bitter, and they really fucking don't give the best performance, and they aren't the best to the people, and all that's doing is pushing them back down through that downslope.
Yeah, totally.
And it's, I mean, I am speaking to me as much as I could be speaking to anyone ever. So
yeah, 100%.
Don't ever recognize that I'm trying to.
No, yeah, totally.
You just got it. It's you. You're the only one that gets to pull yourself out.
Yeah.
You get to decide how you feel about the thing.
100%.
How you're going to react,
true.
right?
Yeah, attitude and effort.
And I've done a shit job most of my life at it, so I'm trying to get better at it. But, I get to control whether I'm pissed off about something.
True. Yeah, exactly. That's so true. Yeah, because every bad set, like every tough show or tough room, like there's always something to learn. Every setback, like you can see that as part of the process, and it's just like, well, I learned something today, and like this isn't like the end. This isn't throw away like you're only as good as your last set, like because like that's not. I don't believe in that. Like I believe in like you're only as good as like how much your attitude and effort you're putting in.
Yeah, attitude and effort is a big thing.
Yeah,
I had a surprising back and forth kind of pendulum thing presented to me recently where I did a guest set that I wasn't expecting to do.
Okay.
Sold out Comedy Works South.
Okay.
For a headliner, right? Someone that's on TV that I don't want to fuck this up, right? Here's a big shot. Don't screw it up. And that went well. And then the next thing I got to do, next opportunity, because I work 60, 70 hours a week at 2 jobs, was in a dispensary for 8 or 10 people. And I fucking ate dick the whole time riffing on another stage with another person.
Yeah.
Like different show style, whatever.
Yeah.
But like this like this is the full range and scope of how it is.
Yeah.
Just you're trying to get better.
Yeah.
Trying to dig at it.
Yeah, that's the fun part of it is like you get to see all of it,
And so that was a real kind of gut check of like even if I gained a little bit of whatever kind of ego of like, oh, I got to fucking do this cool opportunity and I rose to the moment or whatever, self-sucking I want to do with that, instantly taken away by the next show. Just gone.
Yeah, your stand-up has a nice way of reminding you.
That's good.
Yes, it's 100%.
It makes you a better person.
100%.
If you, like you said, attitude and effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because like especially like the more you do it, because like starting out, like you only want to have good shows, and you can convince yourself that you're only having good shows, but then like eventually, like you have to face like, okay, well if I want to get better, I have to like recognize the process and like recognize there are things I can do that I can control to get better. So
I feel like it's kind of this age where a lot of people want to do it, and the people that are going to win are the people that are going to have the effort and attitude. But I think a lot of the winners are going to be people that find creative guerrilla ways to go at it. So like here's a thought I had. Lined at this bar near us or whatever happens, Friday, Saturday night, late, people waiting to get in or club. Pull up in a truck with a speaker in the back and stand in the fucking bed of the truck and do some fucking street stand up. Yeah. For 40 people that had nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Try to
honestly though. Yeah.
Like do that, film it.
Yeah.
Like, put out a little series.
That's a great series.
Try to fucking,
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Like the people that win are going to be the people that end up trying to do this kind of
talk about cutting your teeth at like a tough, like it's so unconventional, and like, it would definitely make you better for sure.
Yeah, and hopefully you suck a lot because it's going to be an accelerator to getting better.
Good point. Yeah, that's how I feel about my room a lot. I talk about it all the time. It's like, I'm driving from Denver to Greeley every week. Like that's a grind, and so I'm putting in that time and energy. So it's like I don't show up and like phone it in.
What's end up being for a drive? Because I know it's
an hour
around rush hour, right?
Well, I have the luxury of I work in Commerce City. So I literally can just pull out of work and boom, I'm on the highway.
Gotcha.
And like I'm already north of the city, so I can get up quicker. If I have to go home first, or if I like come into the city, then it's about an hour 20 to get back out. But if I start up top, it's always an hour, and it's an hour to get home because there's no traffic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. Let's leave a little cliffhanger here because I want to hear about the room, but we're going to come back. We're going to take a quick pause break and flip these wings.
Oh, sick. Hell yeah.
People. Have you listened to radio in your life, Jared?
Yes.
Your radio listener. You've
A
heard
little
this
bit,
thing
yeah.
about station identification, where they go, station identification.
Oh, sure, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. You want to give us a station identification on
Okay.
the fly?
All right.
You can just make it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to 103.5, The Party in the Garage. We're coming right back after we flip these wangs, baby. Don't go anywhere.
We're back.
We're back.
The wings are flipped.
Flipped wangs.
I mean, they smell good. I'm excited.
Yeah, they look good.
I'll be honest, I've done a lot of pods in the last 2 weeks, and I got to the point where I was like, I can't eat wings. So I made them for a guest, and I was like, I'm not eating these ones. It had like gotten too much. They were great, but I was like, these look horrible to me.
What else do you like to cook?
I'm gonna do ribs. It's been a while since I've done the ribs.
Oh, man.
Wings are easiest with the time frame because they only take about an hour and a half on the smoker, or an hour and 20, hour and 10.
100%. Yeah.
So that's the easiest for the time frame I get with the pod. But I want to do like a big event pod where I do a brisket for like 18 hours.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like an intense ass brisket, huge ass, like serving up brisket sandwiches to people.
Yeah. Do like 9 podcasts.
Well, before we made this a podcast studio, when we first moved in, I was like, that's a stage. Open the door, put lights around it, have someone stand in the door frame. That's a stage. And put chairs right here. This is a room.
Dude, yeah, I've been, we had a house show, during, New Year's Eve, which also happens to be my birthday. So we fucking threw down, we did a house show and then we threw down after. It was sick.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Was it fun? Did you guys set up the house show and all that? Yeah,
dude, it was so much fun putting all that together. Like, and we're trying to do one on the summer, and I think I'm going to make my birthday like a regular house show type deal. But like I built the stage out of pallets at work and like painted it and everything. I put up lights and like I lost money on it. Cause like I had put like a fucking space heater outside, like one of those propane ones,
right,
and stuff, and like just really went all out for it, and it was so cool. We squeezed like 30 people into my living room or something.
That's
like it was
blast,
awesome,
dude.
Yeah.
That's a blast.
Yeah.
There's something I found on Instagram this week that was like an underground house kind of thing here in Denver.
Oh, really?
Have you been on that?
I don't know. I know about the Humor Underground.
Yeah, that one. That's
the backyard show.
Backyard show. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
dude. They have an open mic every Saturday, and they do like shows.
Great, I work every Saturday.
Yeah.
No, I love.
Oh yeah, because you're at
I'm the sound guy at Comedy Network South.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
I kind of have been at this point. I'm kind of important in terms of like just making things
right.
Go on
yeah,
at that point.
You're essential.
People have to work.
Yeah,
it's the whole. Nobody wants to work anymore. Like, well, I'm working. Sorry.
Yeah.
try to work.
What's your other job?
I work at like a small family private equity firm, and I do accounting and like
that's so funny. Just like the contrast of the two. Well, I worked the door at Comedy Workshop, and then a small equity firm.
Yeah, like
no big deal.
Investments and capital, and
wow,
like real estate kind of property.
Okay,
kind of
nice.
Stuff, yeah, it's nice. I mean, I love the people in the small office, and like we were just talking about, like I'm at the point where, it's comfortable, but if there isn't like if I'm, in a comfortable spot for too long, and it's the inflation has made it so a lot of people are on this top end of what I would call the poverty trap.
Mm-hmm.
Their expense to saving ratio, their savings to income ratio, and it's bad, kind of tough.
Yeah,
I'm in a tough spot here.
Mm-hmm.
The result of this happening over time and compounding is that people are going to feel beaten down, defeated. They're going to be less incentivized to invest in themselves, invest in their families, invest in their communities, invest in the future of America.
Just scraping by,
like just scraping by.
Yeah, just so you got to hold on to everything for yourself, and you can't like give back to your community. You can't make any donations
or invest in things that create value for other people, businesses.
Yeah, or like go to like I'm a huge like advocate for that for Greeley because it's a small town. Kind of, it's 100,000, but like it's growing all the time, and like we have tons of like local events that the community puts on that I really want. Like it makes me smile to see like when it does well, when people like the Moxie has the Friday Fest every Friday where they have outdoor music and stuff, and like they do like they block off the street so you can do open container like between bars and stuff like that.
What's the Moxie? Tell me about this. I'm
familiar. So the Moxie is it used to be the Union Colony Dinner Theater.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Oh, maybe I've seen something there.
Yeah. So it's been open since 2013, and it's a music venue.
Okay.
And it's just a really beautiful. Sorry,
We're dead. We're all dead. They nuked us. That was China.
That was it.
Taiwan, it's gone.
But it's like a really beautiful theater, and like they, you walk up these stairs to get up to it, and like that's kind of like Patrick Richardson used to have a show there called These Jokes Are For You.
Love the Piss Man. One of my earliest supporters behind Alec Flynn.
Really? That's sick, dude. Yeah, I love that guy. He's one of my earliest friends in stand-up.
Got a phone on that table that just buzzed. We heard it through the thing. That's all.
I didn't hear it.
It goes all the way up through the cord, I think. I don't know how. Crazy. I don't know how.
That's okay.
I heard that though.
Now it's your turn to do something. I hit the mic. Sam's phone went off.
Okay.
I'm
next on deck.
Yeah.
I'm next on deck. I don't even know. Maybe I'm tripping, bro. Maybe I'm hearing things. The ghost. No, yeah, you are muted. That's weird.
Yeah, my phone didn't even buzz.
It's ghost. Fine. Okay. I'll take the full fucking. Why don't you? What? Yeah, you're unmuted. Do you have a good question? Do you have a question back there?
Not right now. I'll let you know. I want to know what you were just hearing.
Oh, this fucking guy. Okay.
My God.
So Piss Man hosts a show there called These Jokes Are For You.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. I remember what we're talking about.
Yes.
Because I'm listening. Unlike this guy on his phone.
That was like one of the first shows I got to do, and like
as like a be on the show, like listed. I'm on the show.
One of my first book shows, like where I was like, just getting my start into stand up, and like I knew Pat and from one of the open mics that was there, and just going to like the Boulder mics and stuff, and so he booked me on that, and that was like a really big deal for me, and so that's how I got in touch. That's how I met like the Eli, the venue owner, and the booker. And I just stayed in touch and like did the show a couple more times, and then in COVID I worked security for the Moxie, which was a fun time to work security for live events. What
was that like? Tell me a little bit about it.
It was just something to keep me like connected to the live entertainment industry, because like we were going up to like Wyoming, me and my buddy Rudy, we were going up to Wyoming to do stand up and to get stage time, and like
were there no mics at all?
Not in like big cities. Like you would have to go to Wyoming, or like Greeley was still like doing like all acts, like music open mics and stuff. So I would still kind of do a little bit there. And then eventually things started to slowly open back up with like, restrictions and stuff. Right. So you could still go.
Did you do any of the mask shows where you were like performing with a mask?
No, but I did like shows where you would switch off. You would have your own mic condom that you would put on the mic, and you would like there at the Blush and Blue, they had like a screen in front of the stage that you had to stand behind, and what else? There was like
to block the COVID.
Right. Yeah. And there was like parking lot shows and stuff. So I did like one of those in Loveland.
That's cool. Was that fun?
It was interesting. Yeah, it was kind of fun, because luckily they weren't like in their cars. Like they could just like set up like on the sidewalk, and then you were just kind of like in the parking space.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that was fun. So just did what I needed to get by, and so I started working security, and so we had a lot of like soft opening after COVID. There was like like hip hop shows and like local stuff, like not a lot of big acts coming through, but we were doing a lot of local stuff, and I would just stand there and watch the show and like just hang out and like sweep the floors at the end of the night. And then later, like in 2021, Eli takes me down the elevator and says, "This is going to be the new pinball arcade, and I'm thinking we should do stand up down here." And I was like, that would be sick. Like, it looks pretty dope. I was getting ready to move to Denver at the time, and my boy Rudy was still there. Like, he took over the Moxie showcase, and then he took over the Stella's show down there, and they did that on a monthly basis for about a year. And then Rudy couldn't do it anymore, so it changed hands between hosts, and then eventually they needed somebody to do it, and Eli hit me up and was like we need somebody to help host this show, and we want to do it weekly. And I was like, oh fuck, like strap in. Like, this is gonna be, it's either gonna succeed, it's either gonna keep going and we're gonna keep having shows, or it's not. And so eventually I was just the guy to do it, so I've been doing it ever since for like about a year and a half or so.
He's not getting blocked by that mic, is he? Okay.
Getting close.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you got to keep it away. I want to see your face. I don't want a mic in the face of a beautiful man. Come on now.
On stage, I'm so used to like talking like this. Like,
It is very different because the stage mics, you want to put them where you're talking
up to
right
your face.
over it.
Yeah.
And these, it's a fist.
Yeah. Totally.
But
yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
So how long have you? I want to ask you, how long have you been at it then? Like how long have you been doing stand up? Would you say?
It'll be 9 years in September.
Okay.
Is when like I really got bit by it and really started seeking out stand up and stage time.
Cool.
Yeah, because like before that, like the year before that,
again, and then you
did it again.
just like we did to them too. Well, different country, but it's like we did to Japan 2 times.
Yeah.
I guess both times were Denver though.
Yeah.
Well, fuck you twice from G.
Yeah.
Thanks, G.
I talk with my hands too much sometimes, but
that's kind of sick. I bet ladies like that when you talk with your hands too much.
Yeah. Studied ASL just for that reason.
Trying to communicate with you.
Yeah.
Trying to communicate with you.
Yeah. I'm bilingual. Yeah.
Bilingual, bisexual. Yeah, I love that. That's great.
Yeah, but like I did like church talent shows and stuff like that
growing up,
and like school talent shows and just like
you've always been very performative.
Yeah, and like that's why I did like stand up for the first time was at those talent shows and like.
So you count that as a year?
No, I don't. I count that as like my introduction to it, but like actually like pursuing it and doing it like was a year after that.
Got it. So how old were you then?
I was about 18.
Nice.
I was going to this mic called Outriders in Greeley every Thursday, and I was going to the Hody's open mic on Mondays, and Yum Yums was a thing at the time on Wednesdays, and then I was going to Johnny's Cigar Bar on Tuesdays.
And when you were can I ask, when you were going to these mics and you're just starting out, are you doing are they 3-minute mics? What's the
3 to 5?
Okay, so you're doing 3 to 5. Are you doing the same 3 to 5?
Well, at first I didn't know. So actually, my first mics were at like a mixed mic at the Jaeger in Greeley, and it's like you go down into the basement. Still one of my favorite bars, but I didn't realize that like you could do the same jokes. So I like wrote like 5 new minutes each time, and then like my third time, like I was doing like a new 5 minutes that like wasn't good, and like I told one friend who was writing with me, and he told other people, and they came, and I just ate shit for like a long time. But then eventually like I figured it out by going to Hody's and like seeing like other comedians, and I was like, oh, like I can do the same, like I can work on this same joke and like make it better. So like that's when I started figuring out how to structure it better.
Gotcha.
Started building an act.
Yep. I like I said, I've been writing a joke a day for a long time, been trying to use that as a grinding way. Alec Flynn, I told him early on when he was on my show, I'm like, writing 30 minutes a day. He's like, bump it up to an hour. Obviously, you understand this. I work 2 jobs. So I'm like, an hour a day, I don't have that to write.
So much discipline.
So I'm like, all right, a joke a day. Minimum a joke a day.
Right, yes.
I need to write a joke a day.
Yes.
I think Seinfeld talks about this too. Not that Seinfeld's anything, but other than super fucking rich. I mean, it'd be cool to be that fucking
Seinfeld
rich.
is shit. Seinfeld ain't shit.
I mean, I think people who are like in comedy recognize that, like Larry David, like as far as like a writing stand-up thing is like undervalued and undercut for what the...
Yeah, he was the grandfather to Seinfeld's.
I'm just trying to be like, recognizing from that an art form.
Yeah, 100%. But do you do like the calendar thing and like cross off the days and like...
Oh yeah. Well,
for every chain?
You just got to do it every day. At this point, I'm in the rhythm of it happen. It's multiple times a day sometimes, but it's every day minimum.
What do you do when you haven't written one and you got to do it?
I just write a joke.
But do you like see, for me it's like I'm sitting there and I'm like I feel the motivate. I'm like I should do it, and I'm like, but my phone would be so much easier.
So then
like
I'd be like
that.
So okay, here we go. I'd be like, man, I have a tough time writing. It feels like the same way I feel about performing in bed. I'm like, I should do it. I should do it.
You just channel whatever emotion you're feeling.
There's an example for you. My brain is just like, it's going to write a joke, period.
Okay.
It's going to write, like, it just does.
Interesting. Okay.
It might not be good. It might not be fucking the best thing you've ever fucking...
Yeah,
it's going to write a joke. It's going to try to write a fucking joke.
Okay. That makes sense.
How it does.
I just kind of like, I have a hard time just getting over that initial hump of like, time to start now. Like, and I like to like...
Like premise wise or...
Yeah, well, it's like I build it up too much in my head, and so it becomes like it has to be like it's going to take some time, and so I procrastinate.
Okay. Have you read the art of this creative art? The Stephen Pressfield.
The War on Art.
Have you read that?
I've listened to the audiobook. Yeah, like the Resistance, right? Like
that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
the Muse and all that.
Yeah. I need to revisit that for sure.
I would recommend. I don't know how you learn, but personally for me, I find it best to get it in my hands, to feel it, and to mark it up. Even if it's something for me personally.
Totally. Yeah.
Just reading for fun or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa, this sentence is cool. Underline.
Yeah. I like that part too.
Oh, I like this paragraph. Here's a star next to it.
Yeah. I like having the physical copy.
Look at a little bracket here. Just check this out if I revisit it.
Yeah. I used to do like the tabs on the books and stuff. And like, and like really, get into it. That is a book
I'd recommend because for me, recently reading that, and it's provided a good framework to, again, reframe and refocus the attitude and effort, which are the foundational things that you talk about to being positive contributors to the long run success of the art form.
100%. Yeah. What are some of the favorite shows that you've seen at the Comedy Works and why?
Ooh, what a tough question. I was actually cleaning up the Comedy Works recently and thought, I wonder what I would say when a guest asked me this question. And I kind of was stumped cleaning up the chairs. But the tough thing for me is that when you see a kind of variety of this point of national headliners that have been doing the same act for 10 years, national headliners that are doing a new hour every year or doing a new hour every 2 years and have been doing it for 30 years, local people that are doing a showcase show. Local people that are headlining for the first time. So what gets me hyped is seeing fucking Matt Kobos headline.
Yeah,
and seeing the crowd get hyped for him show. And appreciate his fucking work and effort and attitude.
Yes, 100%.
Like, that's what gets my heart going.
Yeah.
Now. What gets my heart going is seeing fucking Noah Reynolds step on the mic and get 10 minutes and leave me pissing my pants in the sound booth for the entire 10 minutes. Yeah. And the crowd not understanding that it's hilarious as shit. Because they're maybe not enough people, or they're old, or they're not.
He's an acquired taste.
But I mean, you just gotta... It's or Hannah Jones on a Rich show, and she pulls the card out, and I'm just like, holy fucking shit, you're a genius.
Yeah, 100%.
It's those kind of moments for me that now I have that's what gets my heart palpitating.
I agree. Yeah. I like those shows a lot, those local shows, and then like just seeing people level up, is freaking awesome. And I like the big headliners when it feels like they're your friend, like I saw Pete Holmes at the Downtown at the late show at the last show, and he was like so like himself, and like not very like performative or whatever. Like he was just so like, he was like, sorry, I'm tired. Like at one point, and I handed my little like postcard that I wrote for him to Ashley, and I was like, can you give this to Pete for me? Because I've been listening to his pod for a long time, and like I'm a huge fan. But like, awesome. Yeah, I like those ones too. It's just like where I'm a fan, and I'm just there to like see him too.
Yeah, I got to pop downtown for a late show and see Matt McCusker.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that was a great show. And I got to pop in and shake his hand. And I've been, following their pod and Patreon supporter for a long time. But it's cool to see people that, you like blow up and come in. And there's also for me a cool thing about like a national headliner, big person comes in. And my ignorance, I don't know. I don't have an appreciation to the level I need.
Right.
For example, Mr. Harlan Williams.
Yeah.
I did not have any level of appreciation to the level of this guy's comic genius.
Yeah.
And what he's done for the art form of comedy.
I like that too as a booker, because like when I if I don't know you and like, but I know you got the stuff, then like, and like I see your act or something, and then I feel super comfortable just walking up and being like, hey, what's up? How often are you in Colorado? Like, would love to get you on my show sometime. Cause like I don't have all that like, oh, I know who you are, like all that behind it, all that learned history.
The pressure.
Yeah. Cause like there's some people who I've like known for a long time. I've known about them, but like they don't know who I am. So then when my first interaction with them is, they're like, hi, I'm so-and-so. And I go, I know. I know who you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's tough, but that is like a very awkward but difficult thing to master of like, being the same self with someone that you put a character onto that they don't necessarily carry in through the world, like through their interactions.
Putting them on a pedestal of sorts. Like, dude, it's hard not to do that sometimes. But
like, for example, like, you know, I had Brian Sullivan in recently for Juneteenth episode. Fucking great time. Brought Tyree with him. Had a great fucking time. And I was nervous because he's like big time for me. Like, you know, that's a big guest. Like, I was fucking excited to have him on.
Yeah.
And I was a little nervous, and you know, you got to get over that first couple rocky little feelings of pedestalness, whether it's, you know, Brian Sullivan or fucking, you know, Tony Romo or whoever.
Tony Romo,
some fucking name, I don't know. Some random big name. I'm having Jesus Christ on the pod today, folks.
Tony Romo and Brett Favre doing a podcast.
I've got this joke that I'm excited to do. I'm hoping to do it, and I'll probably do it in Utah, but like, time for Jesus to come back. If anyone's been looking around, like, it's time. But what I've realized is that when he does come back, he's got to get his message out, right? This guy loves publicity. And so what's he going to do? He's going to have an OnlyFans when Jesus Christ comes back. He's going to have an
TikTok with a link tree.
I like thinking about what his OnlyFans username might be. You know, like at Original Sin. Who am I kidding? That's already taken. At Daily Bread. At Christ Cock. I mean, the possibilities are endless, folks. I can keep going all night.
OG Carpentry.
What I really find funny, at Laying Wood for real. At Saved Your Soul. Let me come on your face. That's kind of long. But what I like about the idea of Jesus coming back and having an OnlyFans is that Jesus wouldn't even be a top creator or the top creator on OnlyFans if he had one.
Yeah.
He's out there competing with these whores, trying to get his message of salvation out.
Yeah.
And they're just recommended, shaking their cheeks, beating his ass.
It's hard to compete with.
So that's going to be tough for him when he comes back.
Yeah. I love that. I love that idea.
I don't know how to rap. I don't really have a good rap for it. I've just gone off my head of I don't have, maybe there's more.
That's great. Notes, I love religious material. Were you raised religious?
I was raised Catholic growing up.
Catholic. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I did the full atheist switch. And then I've done the waffling of actually giving it a full look as
what kind of like
Buddhism has been a big part of my life.
Okay.
Too, so
yeah. What kind of started to make you steer the ship a little bit differently from going from Catholic to like atheist to all those things? Like, what's more of your journey there?
I thought that like science was like a thing. I was like, oh, this doesn't, there's like, I was logical and critical, and I was like, oh, this doesn't add up.
Did you like look up from your Bible one day and just go, wait a second, or did you like, or did something happen, or was it gradual?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Because for me, I was like kind of like steering away from it and like kind of like not as involved with it. And then I did like acid, and then I was like, oh, like
okay. Like, so for me, I was in like Young Life and did some of that stuff in high school because it gave me connections outside school with friends and stuff. But besides like that kind of interaction, I had stopped going to church back in middle school or before.
Sure.
And, I got confirmed, and then I was like, I'm out, which is a classic Catholic thing to do. Get confirmed in the Catholic Church and then bail.
What is that, like baptizing? Or like?
It's like another step in the kind of arc of the faith.
Okay.
There's an arc of the Jewish faith, and there's an arc of the Catholic faith.
I see. Okay.
That's an arc of, being part of that faith group.
Gotcha. Okay. So,
it's like the last step. It's where you get like your pin. It's like the graduation.
You get your
diploma,
your Eagle Scout,
and then
badge.
You run away and you never. It's just like college, folks. Becoming a Catholic and being confirmed is just like college.
Yeah,
you go on that stage, you get your degree, and then you go out in the real world and never use it again.
Yeah, totally. That's a very good analogy. Yeah,
write it down. I'll write it down.
Yeah.
Edit the show.
That's a good joke. Yeah,
I can perform that. That'll
work.
Get a laugh or two, maybe.
That's great.
I can tag it up the Jesus shit, maybe.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of religious material?
I don't know.
Do you write about it?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of write about whatever. I'm interested in religion. One of my minors was religion and philosophy. Trying to study that stuff is very interesting. Political science got kind of jaded for me. I was way too early on involved and interested in politics, like in high school and shit, and
Yeah.
It's not healthy. You don't need to fucking care. People pulling strings. Do they touch in your life? Maybe a little bit. Who cares?
Yeah.
Lucky to be here where they're barely touching us versus another country. Feels like the president. Oh, wing timer.
Wing timer.
Feels like. You know what it feels like? Feels like it's time for wings.
Feels like it's time for wings.
I'm going to give you the classic station identification, and we're going to be right back on Well Fed. You're listening to 91.1. Oh, shit. Was that another plane? We'll be right back. Go. Cheers to the after hours show.
Yes, sir.
Absolute blessing to be
Wings
here.
were fantastic.
We keep forgetting to clap, so it's going to be fun to line these up. We're talking a lot about like learning how to do a podcast, learning how to do stand-up, learning about what we're doing and exploring creative endeavors, and it's just really enjoy talking to you, really enjoy the way that you approach things, and you seem to have a really great mindset, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot, dude. Likewise for you, dude.
Appreciate it. Before I move
got a
on,
good head on your tall shoulders.
Oh, I hope it falls off. It's doing me problems.
Yeah.
No, let's acknowledge the wings really quick for the like tight OG fans, because they're gonna be like, what's the review? So we need a review. These are some solid wings today.
Absolutely.
I got lucky.
I was impressed.
What do you production? You have these wings all the time, Sam. What do you think? Let's get you first.
I was thoroughly impressed. I gave them an 8.5
Mm-hmm.
on the 10 scale.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and I gave them a 9. They were crispy. They had a lot of flavor and just the right amount of heat. I love the barbecue sauces mixture that you did. Oh, whipped it up. It was so good. Just hit the spot right in the afternoon after a longboard ride. I'm like, man.
Dude, I appreciate your kind words about being a good host, because I've felt like as I'm trying to learn, I'm overly critical of myself. I don't know if you have this problem.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm overly
critical. You kidding? I'm a pro at it.
I mastered it. 10,000 hours. I made it there, but age 4. Holding up a 3 like, what? With that comes a lot of thinking I might be doing something wrong, wanting to try something new. And the biggest foundational thing I found to a successful a successful podcast, something I walk away from like, dang, that was fun. Regardless of how many people see it. Because that's not the purpose. Truly. That's why I don't post and clip up every single episode. That's why I'm not growing like I should. Whatever.
Same.
Because it's not about that. I have found that like making a comfortable host, like welcoming, that's the most important thing. If I don't do that, I'm fucked.
100%. Yeah.
I can't do any of the other cool stuff.
Yeah.
I can't ask you the questions about like your biggest fear or like the thing that makes your heart pitter, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's a very important step. And like, so it's not just all business and stuff like that. You know, I found it's the same way with like when you're hosting a show, right? Like you got to go up there, make everybody feel comfortable and like give everyone permission to laugh through the way that you present your act and stuff. And then that sets everybody else up for a great show. And like, it just goes seamlessly. And then no matter who the headliner is, they're going to have a great set because we've laid the groundwork all the way up to there. So
if someone like has never seen a stand-up show and they're like host, that's the person that stands at the front of the restaurant.
Right. Yeah. No, you're doing a set also. Yeah.
So a host is someone that comes up. You're
the everyday man.
Yeah. Crowd of 50 people, get 30 people, whatever gets sat. You come up to the mic and they're like, you got to make them listen to you.
Yes. Yeah, and you gotta, and there's like, because there's you do a set up top which introduces the crowd to the show, but you're also like before the show and after the show and during, you're hosting and you're like, I'm running around, I'm checking in with bartenders, I'm checking in with audience members, I'm like watching the room, seeing if what's going on. Like for 2 shows ago, a bunch of my friends came out and because we just got done doing a movie in Canyon City called Field of Screams. It'll come out sometime.
Field of Screams. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was sick. Yeah,
what kind of movie is it?
It's a feature film, and it's about it's a horror.
I'm stupid. Feature film. Does that mean it's shorter?
No, it means it's a full length. Yeah, it's not a short film that's like, you know, length. 12. Yeah, full length film, baby.
What's full length? 12, you said, huh? I don't know if I'm quite the full length.
90.
90 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
Full length film, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it was like one of my biggest acting roles that I've had ever. Like I was like one of the main characters in it. Yeah, so it was super fun. We got to do that.
How'd you get into that, dude? That's amazing.
Well, I mean, I did a little bit of acting in college, and then I was in touch with the film people, and like they were my friends, and so one filmmaker, shout out Calvin Shepard, he's been making a lot of Like he's done a handful of features.
Should I get him on the pod? Do I need him on the pod?
Oh, absolutely.
Super fascinating guy.
Oh yeah.
Write down the name right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Repeat his name.
Calvin Shepard is a producer and a filmmaker, and then Evan Runkle and Alex Mode, who are the directors and the creators of the film.
We don't have advertisements here, so give the advertisements to these guys.
Absolutely.
To your friends,
of
the
course.
people that have been working hard. Like, let the people know.
They're
check
great.
them out.
It was so fun. It was like my first feature experience, and like Alex and Evan, also great hosts, and like they just made it so like enjoyable for me and like enjoyable for the crew. And I was just super impressed by how prepared they were and like how professional, but also really fun and just a good vibe on set. Like we did it 3 weekends in a row where I was driving down to Canyon City, and everybody was down there.
Shoot. Very cool.
Yeah, it was so nice. And then we had like an Airbnb.
Again, third bomb. Jesus Christ. How many fucking
even
times
better
is
than
China going to bomb us today, folks? What's going to win? The number of epidural shots that Sean's had, or the Chinese bombs that hit the studio?
Sorry, my chip that Elon put in my brain is acting up. But yeah, that was sick. And then so they all came out to the show because some of them were still in town from shooting the movie. And
Where's the show?
At Stella's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they all came to see Stella's, and it was a great show. Oh my God. Trent Cotton headlined. I had some more comics from the Springs on it, and they packed it out. It was the best show they could have come to. It was so fun. And midway through the show, I noticed Calvin is like kind of sitting like on the banister, like not in a seat, like he's kind of like balancing himself on it. And like I just go, what the fuck? And I like run to the arcade and I grab like a little cube that he can sit on, and I run back and I go, sit down, you crazy guy. Like, just enjoy yourself. Like, you should have came and told me that you didn't have a seat. So it's stuff like that where it's just like, but then up top you're like, hey, I'm still like, your job's not to crush, even if you might.
So we're going back to what it means to be a host.
Yes. On stage.
Talking a lot about things here.
Yeah, totally. But so like, it means to host to like get your friend a seat, but it also means that up top you're doing a set and you're making everyone feel comfortable. So like you'll go up to a cold room, so there's no energy in the room yet, and you're just like, you're warming them up and getting those jokes out and being silly on stage so that it gives the audience permission, because they might not have ever seen an act like yours before. They may have never seen a comedy show before. So when you're loose and like you're silly and like you just let jokes roll off your shoulders and you just keep pushing through and having a good time, then all of a sudden they start to loosen up and they're like, okay. And then it's also like making sure like the room is like the right environment. So like the lights are down really low in the house, eliminate all distractions. I unplug all the fancy lights and stuff from the...
Do you take phones from audience members?
No, I rarely. We also have tea lights on the table for table service.
Oh, okay.
So they can turn those. Yeah, the Comedy Lounge does that. So
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, so like the staff can see your tea lights on, and they'll come up to you and
like
they'll
a flight attendant.
Yeah,
I press my blue button.
Yeah,
I come right over.
Yeah, and it keeps everyone like engaged in the show. And I rarely ever see people take out their phone during the show.
It's giving height.
We like not using phones. We like not using phones.
Yeah, dude.
Giving a lot of height.
No, this shit is pretty dope.
We like a good show. Pay attention to the show. You'll like the show more, I promise.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I love that.
This is my favorite one.
Full circle, though. Bunch of illegals.
Yeah, I listened to that on Thad's episode. That's so funny. That cracked me up.
I got to tell him in the green room recently. He was on a showcase show. I'm like, Nick, you're on the board. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're stuck on my podcast board forever. He's like, oh, what's the drop? And I go,
full circle, though. Bunch of illegals.
It's a great drop.
I love it. It's so fun. But dude, I am hype about it. I get hype about Cells. I'm about to make another hype promotional reel for it, because it just like
for sales.
No, just for
Stella's.
Sorry, for Stella's. Sorry, yeah,
for the show, for hosting and running the show.
Yeah,
you're hyped about the thing that you're putting a fuck ton of work into.
100%.
And
still hype
thing.
about it. A year and a half later, I'm still fucking pumped to grow it.
There's no reason. I don't know if someone's throwing shade your way, but let that shit flow off. I mean, sounds like this thing is leading to growth, leading to the positive things that you're trying to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's like
that makes me happy to hear, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's not like so much like shade from other people, although it's just more of like
it's a factor of burnout. I know that's running my show of like, hey, there's a factor. Why the fuck? There's some days, truly, there's some days, and I'll be objectively honest. I'm sitting at my desk working. Why the fuck am I even doing a podcast? No one's listening to this shit. Why the fuck am I? Why am I doing this? Why am I right? Like, do I need to, like, I don't want to ask this guy to be on. Like, he doesn't want to hear from me. I don't want to bother this guy. He had way more important things to do than let me have an Instagram message that he has to fucking think about.
Yeah.
and that's kind of fake. That's made up in my head, right? That's a wall that I'm creating that I can just bust through if I decide to.
Absolutely. It's important to recognize those self-limiting beliefs that you throw up for yourself, because it's there to protect you, but it's not necessarily a voice that you should listen to.
I think the thing that's worrisome to me, and you asked, do I have religious political jokes? Like, I do, and my mind thinks a little too much about that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And one of the things that worries me that I'm trying to figure out a bit around is like, young people don't want to have a voice. Like, they don't. I've had friends that like are really fun and smart and like would be a great conversation, and they are afraid to come on the pod because they think that someone at their job's going to hear it. Yeah. And that they're going to have a and it's like their brain goes from, I said a thing in a moment on a recorded thing and now I'm fired. It's like, dude, we need to step back as people, right, in America, as Americans, 100%. First of all, and recognize there's good faith. If you're operating under good faith as a foundational principle, walk into that meeting with your HR person and say, hey, I went into that thing with my buddy, good faith, runs a show, trying his best. Oh, this comment about my job. Yeah, I could have phrased that differently. I'm sorry.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I really do try to work hard here. If you're with a good
company, like, who like want to vouch for you and do well, then they'll understand.
To be honest with you, if you're with a company where you can't go on your buddy's podcast and hang out with him,
and talk about the place where you spend so much of your time.
I think you might need to reevaluate your position in how you are a person in the world.
100%.
You might be a slave and you don't know it.
Yeah.
You might be putting up walls and blinders and barriers and limiting yourself and your scope.
And that feels safe. So, like, I understand why people do that, point. Like, it feels really safe. Like, it feels good. It's easy. And dude, like, you were in school. Like, how hard was it for the teacher to get people to like raise their hand and contribute to the class discussion?
What year did you graduate high school?
High school 2015.
Okay, so I graduated in 2016. So we're pretty close age. So you saw in college that, like, this arc of it's a combination of like wokeism and the devaluation of individualism.
A lot of movements happened and a lot of things happened in our lifetime, which is great for our generation. Good on us.
What I think is weird is that there's movements are about respecting people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they tear down the respect for people's ability to be people. That's the I have a troublesome conflict of this paradox of like, I do believe truly and always really have of like, you're an adult American. You can make your own decisions. Like we should make our own decisions, but also in that you should make a decision and be a person and not feel like you're limited by this made up wall or scope.
And people are afraid of like being ostracized from the tribe and from like being ashamed for what they think about. And it's like, it's okay. Like, because if we can't create like, I hate to say like safe spaces, but like if we can't create like places for people to like freely express themselves and fuck up, that's the big thing. and not be totally like deconstructed for it. Like
there are so many. I could count on all of my appendages. I could count for days of the things through the hours and hours and hours that we've done this podcast that I'd be like, holy shit, what a terrible. In the moment that why did I say that? Literally,
totally.
Like just stupid shit to try to be funny or just to be stupid. Sometimes just to be offensive.
Yeah, that's fun. Like that's okay. Like we're not mean. Like we're not hateful people.
We were just talking on last episode. Like there needs to be, and we did troublesome with like new people. Like I think it was that he's like got a negative Google review from someone who went to their first comedy show ever.
Oh wow.
And that caused him to lose his position where he was bringing in people consistently to a club.
Whoa.
As a house comic at this club.
Wow.
Because of Google reviews from someone who doesn't give their money, doesn't cast their economic votes to this art form, like doesn't get it. Like we need to put a bubble around this entire scope of it's a joke.
Yeah, that's why
it can be it's in the context. You don't get to decide the intention as the listener receiver. You don't get to. It's in the bubble and scope of a joke.
Yeah, and you get to interpret that how you want, but. Like,
But
that's why I respect the Comedy Fort for how they treat Google reviews, because like they're on the side of the comics. Like,
okay. Talk about this.
Well, like there's been a couple times where I've seen
Comedy Fort in Fort Collins. Dylan,
shout out. Dylan Williams or David post like
shout outs.
I
really care about
funny.
supporting local comedy. So
Yeah.
go if you're in Fort Collins,
please
check out the Comedy Fort.
Yeah, it's one of the best clubs in the world, and they're so supportive of local comedy, and they've laid the groundwork. Like they're awesome.
Can I just quickly aside? I would like to give a shout out. Will you search for me on the Comedy Fort? There's a recent special that went out, and I'm horrible with names, like I said. You can help me here.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of short, well-written jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Wears glasses. Guy, middle 30s probably. Just put out a special. Trains is the name of the special. Look at me. There's my little bit of autism. Search Trains. I want to say his name.
Zach Reinhardt.
Zach Reinhardt.
Yeah,
hey,
what
Zach.
a guy.
Hey, Zach, if you
Shout
see
out
this,
Zach.
I sent you a message on Instagram. I was scared to do it, but I did it. You're hilarious. I would love to talk to you.
Yeah, he headlined Stella's last year, and I'm trying to get him back. So
such a funny dude.
So funny.
Such a good writer. The way he approaches like comedy, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I love him.
Check out
pumped
the special.
out
Trains on YouTube. Sorry to interrupt.
They've pumped out a lot of great specials at the Fort. Like they've been awesome.
So cool.
Yeah,
they do roasts up there, and check out their YouTube page.
Yeah, they're so great. They're so great. But yeah, they protect, like they'll post like a review, and there'll be somebody being all bitchy about like the staff or about
some mozzarella stick complainer.
Yeah, some guy who got his mozzarella sticks twice and it wasn't cooked all the way, and he sent it back twice.
Gushy, washy, gay shit.
Thanks, Lila.
Yeah, and then David or like as the Comedy Fort, they'll comment and be like, sorry it wasn't for you, but respectfully, you're wrong. That's kind of the vibe they put out.
They go the
no hands on my popular knapsack.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the best. So I love them for that, and I love them for supporting local comedy.
We like to have fun. We like to joke around.
Check out the Comedy Fort. They're great people.
Yeah. Check out the Comedy Fort. Check out Stella's every Thursday on in Greeley, if you're in Northern Colorado. But I drive an hour every Thursday to be there, so you can probably drive a little bit. Also.
That's right, baby.
That's right, baby.
That's right, baby.
That's right, baby.
And we're trying to build it up to like it's every week right now, but I want more. I want the mic to be more frequently, because we only do it once a month at this point, and I want to bring back the festival. I want it to grow, and I want it to, because like all of Northern Colorado is merging together into this big like metropolitan area, just like Denver is, and like there's no reason why there shouldn't be a bunch of small scenes all kind of supporting each other and getting better and growing. Because like there's
the buckets. We need a bucket of people coming together.
Yeah, and like because there's so many talented people in the Springs and the Fort Collins that
the comedy scene of Colorado. And you're hearing it here.
Banger.
It's a banger. We're coming for every. And the thing about it is we've got these two other scenes. We've got these buckets, like Ashley said.
Yes.
We've got Fort Collins, Greeley, and the down south.
Yes.
If you put it all together, we go tit for tat with fucking anyone.
100%. And you know why it does so well is because we all provide spaces for each other to get better. Like Roast Battle is a huge example for that. Shout out Roast Battle.
So cool.
I fucking love it. It's like one of my favorite pieces of the community in Denver, because it makes us all better.
It's giving height.
It's big hype. Dude, it's so rowdy.
Height.
Yes. Giving height.
Big hype. Big hype too.
It's giving height.
Yes, I like height. I like height. I like hype. It's fucking sick. It's so sick. And like they shout out Austin Langley,
and you can check them out on YouTube. Is the cool part. They post all their fucking shit to YouTube.
Yeah.
So you go to the live show, fucking enjoy the heck out of it if you're in Denver. But if you're not in Denver, check it out.
Check it out on YouTube.
Roast Battle
They're
League.
Bangers. Yeah, and there's actual stats that show that we're competing with some of the bigger cities, and like we're not all the way up there where LA is, but like we're better than most, like for sure.
And it's a wave, and the wave is rolling, and there's more water that keeps pouring into the wave.
Yeah, more people who have never done it before, like Mike Hammock and Mick Jones, just went and roasted each other. They both have never done Roast Battle, and it was so great. It was so fun to watch. Oh my god, love those guys. It's been a blast.
Well,
And your boy is 4-3 now.
You're 4-3?
Yeah, dude.
Dude.
Yeah.
I got to see
Lost 3 in a row, won 4 in a row.
You won.
I did. Yeah.
So, I mean, I've only got to see one time, and it was the time of so much fun. So much fun. Check them out. Wide Right. What a great place. The owner, what's her name? Do you know her name?
Megan DePonto. I want to have her on the pod too.
I would love her to come on this pod.
Yeah.
Let's race.
Who's
going to get her
race
first?
to get Megan. Yeah. We're running to
Cartoon,
we're on our way to Wide Right and just like tripping over things. We both get to the door at the same time.
Yeah.
Megan, get you on my podcast. No, I said it first. Jinx. It was you.
All right. Well, in this part of the podcast, I would love to ask you about like your personal life. And
yeah, likewise, because this is the part of my podcast where we do the stretch yourself question.
Why don't you take the reels?
Okay, so can you think of a time in your life when you've been stretched beyond your comfort zone? It can be creatively, professionally, relationships, whatever. And when you came out the other side of that, bigger, stronger, faster person, better person.
Okay. This is something I haven't talked a lot about, but I had a really tough thing in college. It was a challenge of my character, and it really challenged my ability to be in the groups I was in. I was being accused of something I didn't do, and I had to go through processes to prove my innocence. And I did prove my innocence, and that coming through that process showed me that when you're really faced with adversity in a public setting, and this is applicable to stand-up, there will be people that you think would never turn on you that are so quick to go the other way.
Wow.
And you need to recognize that you get to decide whether you want to throw that person aside, whether that person gets a pass, whether you're going to forgive them, whether you're going to be understanding, You put yourself in their shoes. Would you run from your friend that's being accused of something bad? Something that is heinous? And you don't know?
Tough.
It's tough. It's a tough situation. So, yeah. And I've had, other friends talk about their situations with significant... it's a tough fucking situation, period. All out, full on. And I think that made me recognize and grow in a way that I never would have expected to have to be faced by.
How old were you?
Fucking sophomore year of college, so
just a young lad.
Yeah 20, 21.
That's tough. Yeah, was it like a 10-9 thing, or is that what it's called?
Title IX. Just some Title IX stuff.
Yeah.
And it was some stuff that it was the hardest thing for me is I am very maybe you've gotten this one, I'm very empathetic and caring. So I would have to read these things and these statements from this person that were really tough to hear because they were like, oh my God, holy shit, this is horrible. But it's not, you feel for them, but you also have to be what the fuck is this? Isn't true. It's
so tough too. Cause I was in a fraternity at UNC, and I was leadership exec. I was VP, sergeant, new member ed. And, I would work side by side with the president, and I would learn about those types of things came through our chapter as well.
Did you have a big fraternity?
We're a small campus and small Greek life, but we had about 50 at one point. Looking for the vape?
Yeah, I got it. Sorry.
Oh, sick. Can I take a swig?
Please, swig off. It's after our show. We're being bad. Mama, turn off the pod.
Yeah. That's nice. Is that the menthol?
Yeah.
That brings me back.
Dude, we were talking we had an episode a few ago with Sam, and we found there was a listing for Mango Jewel Pods. There's a 4-pack, 2 left. $2,000.
Damn.
On eBay.
Wow. Incredible. What a time to be alive.
We can ask you the question. What could you think of a consumable good that if you could, in theory, buy a pallet of now, that would appreciate in value because the government would regulate it later? I'm bad. I couldn't come up with something good.
Mushrooms.
You think? I think we're going the other way there. You think it's going to swing hard back?
It's the same thing as weed. It's slowly creeping up as legalized.
Okay.
And then as soon as the government can make tax money off of it, it's going to be regulated and sold in
But that's okay. But that's different. I guess that you can't get mango jewel pods anymore. Is our point?
Oh, okay.
I don't think they're going to come and take. I think the progression of
Jewel was like the pioneer of all of that, so they got hit with it the hardest, and that's why you can't get mango jewel. But now you can get like the flavored vapes and stuff. So it kind of just like.
So it's probably going to be something with like new tech.
Probably
so maybe like the first augmented glasses that are very effective, but they cause some type of weird thing. I don't know. There's some side effect, a reason they pull it.
Yeah.
And you buy a pallet of those glasses. And
or like a pill that makes your dick stronger.
Oh, stronger.
Yeah. And it can like lift weights and stuff.
I mean, you're in the pharmaceutical industry now. How much time and resources just goes into the penis? Like, is Wednesday penis day? Are they like, all right, we got to dedicate it?
Can't speak for women's healthcare, but the penis for sure gets a lot of
day,
funds.
Everyone, let's get the pills together.
dick,
and then you just put on Kanye West, harder, better, faster, stronger. 100% always.
I had a friend who answered that question about the consumable that you would get, and he said gasoline.
Gasoline.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That sounds very safe to get a bunch of that and store it.
Yeah. It doesn't age well either.
Yeah. No. Age well.
Yeah.
Good question. Makes you think.
It does. It's a tough one. It's a good question. It's like one of those like interview style questions, like how many windows are there in New York City, where they're just trying to look at your critical thinking. They don't really give a fuck about your actual answer. They want to see how you think through the question.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Doors or windows?
I saw like a TikTok or something that was just like, but are we counting car doors also and car windows and like all? And he actually like does all the math.
Those
like,
see, you never want to say that in an interview because all I'm doing as the interviewee, I'm like difficult.
Yeah. Won't get started
like,
long.
Tough to deal with.
Yeah.
Must be micromanaged.
Overthinker. Yeah. That's fun. Have you ever been in like a leadership position before? Or
I was so through that process I was talking about. I was running for student government. I lost the presidential election by 1 vote. And then the person I was running with, kind of in that traction of whatever other things were happening, became a big opponent of me. We had lost by 1 vote. I get elected as treasurer by the new people to the board of the student senate. So I served as treasurer. I was the vice president of my fraternity for a brief period and then treasurer. Okay. So yeah.
In Iowa?
Iowa,
so you know all about that too.
Yeah, I mean, leadership has been important to me. I was captain of my ultimate team in high school.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, like you probably had similar situations where it's like a friend, like
my roommate. The next year, my roommate
going through that, and it's like I know this person, like, or maybe I don't as well.
I did, but
you did in this case. But like, it's like you have to choose.
You have to choose a side.
You have to choose a side, and it's like it sucks that you have to choose a side, and it's like also sucks that it's like. How do you go forward like in friendship style and also in like business, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, and so we had to make those choices a lot, and it usually depended on if it was like real and if it was like how like the faith, right? Like in good faith with this person. Right. Like if they're in good faith.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Like it's like let's be fucking honest for just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
It can be pretty fucking clear.
Yeah.
Like you can step back and like really make it pretty
you can go,
fucking
that
clear.
Sounds like bullshit, or you go, that sounds right. That actually sounds real. Like it sounds like this person would do that. So, and then you have to decide like after that, and like I still don't know like the answers because like I've gone back and forth like because those people are out in the world now. And some of them are still hanging out together with the friends I had. And some of them don't know what they're up to, haven't heard or seen from them since. And
I have a question for you. As you've grown up and kind of get into this like prefrontal cortex part of your life.
Yeah.
how have friendships changed? And how have you maintained or developed your approach to male friendships? Because we do have a lot of male listeners, and I feel like a lot of them are in their 20s or 30s, and it is a time of change. And
that's a great question. Right now, so I live with my girlfriend and my 2 best buddies from college, and I've known them for almost creeping up on a decade now. And these folks that I live with and my family are like my inner circle. Like these guys are my ride or dies. They're gonna be with me forever. Like I'm getting emotional just thinking about them because I love them.
Please do. This is the part of the podcast. I've cried many times on this podcast.
Oh, you have? Okay, good. I feel better.
It's a safe space.
Okay.
I've bawled my eyes out. My uncle passed 2 years ago, and I had a voicemail I played from him. He was, gonna come on the pod, and
I think big guys are emotional guys.
Dude. A theory I haven't been able to get. Dude, we got to take a quick pause. We're going to flip it over real quick. All right, ready?
Sure.
And flip.
I was just going to say the
Sorry
clap.
about that. Yeah. Fuck the European Union. Just one time.
But my approach to that is like, these guys, like, as long as I have them in my life, then that's all I need. I see like friendships like
How long have you been with your girlfriend? Can I just ask?
3 years, but I've known her longer. Like we met in college. So,
tell me about, can we touch a little bit on that? Because I don't really get to talk a lot about the person I'm with, my fiance. She's in a field where she deals with people that have problems and are psychotic.
Yeah.
And so I can't post her on my Instagram, even my personal.
Wow.
Can't post about my engagement. Can't post about, don't talk about her on my pod. Don't talk about her name. All this stuff.
Okay.
But I, obviously,
yeah,
it's a big part of my fucking life.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested to hear about, this person who's clearly a huge part of your life.
100%.
How did you meet each other?
We met through Greek life, and like she was briefly in a sorority, but she hung out with our fraternity, and she was one of our. We did like a instead of having one sweetheart for the fraternity, we had multiple, and a sweetheart is like honorary.
That's what you think it is, but it's not that.
No, it's like an honorary sorority member who's like one of the boys.
It's like Sam. They just do they do some nice work. They're fun to be around.
Yeah,
they're amused,
and we love them, and they contribute a lot to our community.
They really do. They really do.
So we had a lot of gals that fit that description. So we did like multiple. So she was one of them. And when I was new member Ed, like. I had a little crush on her, so I had my new member boys serenade her for one of their tasks. It was cute, dude. It was super cute. And we didn't get together for like another like year after that, but she was dating another fraternity brother
of yours.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
What was that like?
So they dated for like a year, and he's like in my family in the fraternity. So like he's like, we had the same big, and they stopped dating for like 6 months, and then like I was still in Greeley. And she came to one of my shows at the Moxie, and
we started. Well?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember. That's fine. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was a while ago, but I forget what show it was. But I did that show, and then we started hanging out after that, and then like a couple months later, started like being official dating and stuff, and then. I don't know how I found out, but like I think it's because I told my big and then he told him. But like he calls me like when like the day we made it official, which is St. Patrick's Day, was like he calls me and we have a big old conversation about it because like I was like I was gonna tell him, okay, but I
think here's the thing. This is important to talk about because I think male confrontation is something that men don't do the best job at always. And it's something that naturally will happen throughout our lives as young men.
It's true. And I'll say this, okay, because I've dealt with this in this moment and also with my current roommates and like my best buds, is just admit when you fucked up and admit when someone needs to do better on their part. So like I've dealt with both ways where like so in this moment I fucked up because I wasn't very open and honest about.
You could have been more forthright.
I could have been more
forthright.
I could have been, yeah, and I didn't. And so he called me out on that and I owned up to it, and I still think about it sometimes, and I still think about, and that stuck with me, and so since then I've tried to like, not since then, but like that was a moment where I was like, I need to be better about being upfront with my boys. So since then, like roommate stuff, I've known these guys for a long time, and so when and I respect, and I know how they tick, I know how these guys work. I know how they think. And so my best buddy, Jason, like I know how his brain works. And so he likes to get everything out on the table and like work. And if he has ideas and he has like things that he wants to work on, he puts it all out there, and I listen and I pay attention, and I, acknowledge like what his intentions are. So, and I've gotten better at doing that. And then like if one of us is fucking up in any way, like I say it, and and if I fucked up, then I say it, and I take that responsibility, and I try to help out more with whatever it is. So that's big for me, is like just being like, I want these guys in my life a lot, and so I don't want to let petty bullshit get in the way of that. So I just bring it out into the open, and we talk about it. And like we like we went and played basketball on Monday at the park, and he's super encouraging. And like I was having a shitty game, and so he's like, don't worry about that, man. Don't let that get in your head. And then like I'll still be like, I'll still bust his balls for something too, Right. So that's just kind of like the open. And then we know we're going to see each other tomorrow. So, we're pretty free flowing with like when we hang out, and, if I don't see you for a little bit, that's cool too, because like we're both busy. So
yeah. Male relationships are interesting, and
yeah,
young male
important.
They're important. They're complicated.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I think we don't, as men, compared to girls, we don't talk about it at all.
Dude,
fucking dick all.
Yeah. And it's so hard to talk about feelings, because like, I think as like a man's perspective, it's kind of like, it's feelings, and I want to like, I wish they weren't there. So like, I would rather not talk about them, because like the solution for me is to deal with it. And like whatever is triggering my emotions, usually for me, the solution is confront it and do something about it. Yeah. And no one else can usually help me with that. So that's why, and so that's been something I've been practicing with my girlfriend, which is like, even though you can't really help me with this problem, it's still important that I talk about it, so that like, I'm not just living in my head.
I had a tough time on the other side of that, where like I need to be better about like listening to the problems we talked about, and not offer solutions. Because I had the same way. Where I'm like, I need to, this is negative. Let's, it's switch this up.
Yeah, it's hard, because it's like, because I don't want to be negative all the time. I don't want to like,
or see this person you love being in a bad place.
Yeah, but it's a tough thing to be in a relationship, and to like, you just have to deal with the good and the bad, and like you get to be a part of it. So that's a privilege. And so like,
it's a privilege to get to grow through tough moments in time.
Yeah. And sometimes like I get down on myself, because I'm like, I feel like I'm bringing a lot of negativity into this conversation, and it's like, and that's not necessarily true. It's just like we're growing together through it, and sometimes there's rough patches, and sometimes those last like a couple of months, and that's okay. It's just, if you're with the right person, you can get through that together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's super important, and we both go through it. Like she's in between 2 jobs right now, and like she's transitioning to the next one.
She's transitioning.
Sorry. Yeah. And I'm outing her on this podcast. Yeah. But like, that's a hard thing for her that she's going through right now. And for me, it's like, like my job, like for a while, like when I first started, that was like the source of stress, and like that compared with like I was just getting my start in Denver and stuff, so like that was kind of tough for me,
trying
and
to
like
meet people, trying to make connections,
and like feeling kind of lonely, and like kind of like just floating, and didn't really know where I fit in, and then like as time grew on, like I got the Stella show, I got the podcast now, like I feel a little bit more connected to my community, like not as quite as much as I like to be, but I know I'm on the way, I know I'm making progress towards where I want to be, so now it's more of like
overheated.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let's you take it off and turn it off, bring it inside really quick, and then hopefully you can get it back up for the hiding.
Oh damn.
Fuck the European Union.
Yeah.
Well, dude, hearing about your growth personally, professionally, I think it's important, because a lot of young people, and I know I would have found myself in this position of, you get down on yourself, you get hopeless, you get feeling like you're stuck in a box, or you build walls around your situation that may or may not be real.
Yeah.
It takes confrontation. It takes action. It takes, those difficult moments, getting through those pushing into the like you said, beautiful way to say it. It's a privilege to be in those uncomfortable, difficult spots.
Yeah. And it's hard to recognize that when you're in it sometimes, but it definitely is, because you look back on it later and you're like, I'm glad I went through that, because I never would have done X, Y, and Z. Like I never would have, if you don't have those moments to push you in another direction, then you won't grow. Like that's just how it works. Like if you don't stretch beyond your comfort zone, if you don't push and put
to those
yourself
intolerable moments.
Yeah. Look at us.
Stretch yourself into those intolerable moments.
Boom. Can we play it?
All right, what do we got?
That's kind of sick. It's giving height.
Yes. Fuck yeah. That's my next step for me. Is I need to plug in sounds to my pod track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got one of these? Or?
I got the pod track.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I love that thing.
So much fun.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, like that's what's important to me. And I think that, and not a lot of people can get to experience that. So yeah.
It's fortunate. Yeah. And have the perspective, having the perspective and attitude. Yeah. That's the biggest
have a little
thing.
wisdom.
You can be young and wise. There's no reason you can't be young and wise.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love that feeling. Like I love feeling like I experienced something that, like made me different and like made me a better thinker and a better, more empathetic and a better person for it. So
I grew up, my fake uncle who lived in our home, like a father figure to me. He's now passed, and my mom,
I have an aunt like that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So Uncle Bill and my mom started this business, Earth Roamer, off-road expedition, luxury vehicle business.
Nice.
So I grew up meeting these owners, and these owners had all, they come from all different backgrounds. They had sold their tech company. They had worked their whole life in real estate.
Wow.
Inherited money, blah, 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 blah. They grounded and they sold their house and they're going to live in this type of situation. And the consistent across all these people is that they were willing to make the jump to live their dream.
Yeah.
They recognized, they had the perspective, they had the effort, and they went through and followed through and pushed into the uncomfortable, pushed into living their dream, pushed into getting this rig, going out, seeing the things, being in the bumfuck nowhere, things breaking down, problems, XYZ.
Yeah.
That's what life is. And I saw that at a young age. And so now I approach the world of like, dude, fucking everybody, I think everyone, I love my favorite questions. Ask someone to be like, why would I be on the podcast? What would I even talk about? Like, someone who's not a performer, my friend, it's like, dude, you're fucking fascinating. You don't even know it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just never had a chance to
step
talk
back
about
and look at like what you've done in life.
Yeah.
It's not nothing.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite guests as well, because you get to ask them and they go, oh, shit, I've never thought about that before. No one's ever asked me that before. And I go, yeah, that's damn right. That's why I'm here, buddy.
Do this shit for a reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you want to check and see if we can do a hiding with that camera real quick? Just real quick lack. Thank you, Sam. Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. Thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah. And then this is a good example too of like, because like the pod for me, like I wanted to do it for a long time, and it took me like a couple of years to actually do it.
To jump in.
Yeah. And so like once I did, I had a real janky setup and whatever, but like I made it happen. And then pretty soon I found out about the pod track, and I was like, oh, well, shit, that'll simplify things for me a lot. And you figure it out as you go. Like you just got to do it, and it's uncomfortable and clumsy at first and clunky, but the more you do it, like then you'll figure out your rhythm, you'll figure out your groove, and then you're seamless.
It's pretty funny because there's this theory in economic development. So like we're talking about third world countries and how we get them, advanced so that they can have systems and live good lives. So that people can have good welfare, right?
Yeah.
But it applies to this exact thing we're talking about. Like Kenneth Arrow has this theory of learning by doing. It's like you can't just give them the resources. You couldn't get, it's a teach a man to fish type of thing in application. You can give them the resources to build a railroad, but if you don't build the railroad and teach them how to learn by doing the execution of running that railroad, they don't ever get to have a functional railroad.
That's so interesting.
So they go invest all this money in these underdeveloped countries, and they did it the wrong way, and they wouldn't see any economic development.
That's an interesting topic, because like I know you have a lot of knowledge on that, but like the idea of like our country and our government going into other places, and then because in some ways like that's good. And then like there's been a lot of bad that's come out of that too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where like we like kind of colonize a little bit, like we kind of keep countries on the hook for a trade agreement or like a resources.
Yes, economic development is a great rebrand for colonialism.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, hey, we're helping you, but we're also getting your money.
You need systems, right? And we can have those farmlands. Is that cool? Don't look up what we're doing in Ukraine right now with the farmlands. Don't read into what we're doing.
Exactly. Like
you won't like it.
It's an interesting topic. Like I don't know dick about shit about foreign policy, but is that going to be a clip?
Well, I can teach you shit about dick. All right. Have you heard of this funny little country called England?
Yes.
They did all this colonialism, this economic development thing we're talking about. And they also have this silly little thing called knighting. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
Okay. Well, here at Top Shelf Studios, after a long form conversation with my guests, I'm doing a little thing called hiding. Because all my life, people be like, hey, can I get a couple inches? Shit like that. So now I'm giving away the inches.
Nice.
Because these meat sacks that we're in, these physical forms, that these vessels that we drive every day, they are merely that. They are vessels.
Yeah.
And who we are as people, the way we approach the world, our effort and attitude is really what defines us.
100%.
So after a long form conversation, I'm giving you your heart height.
Oh, yay.
Jared Chandler, how tall do you stand physically?
How tall I stand physically? I'm big, dude. I'm fucking 8'6".
No, come on.
I'm fucking 14 feet.
Come on.
Oh, really?
For real.
All right. I'm like as tall as like a skyscraper, dude.
You're 6 foot what? 4?
Oh.
5? 6? What are you? How tall do you stand?
I'm 6'4".
6'4", okay.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you meant like
you're good,
metaphorically.
No,
or like spiritually, how tall do I stand?
I'm about to tell you how tall you stand.
Okay.
Jared Chandler, I heart height thee 6'9". Woo! He's
Get
funny
ready.
and tall.
I'm
and he's not going to
unstoppable,
live
dude.
long.
Yeah.
So check him out at that
dude.
height. He won't live long. Check him out at
Catch
Stella's.
me before I blow up posterity.
And
like Van Gogh.
We're coming to the Midwest. You heard it here first.
Yeah, dude.
City near you. If you live in a small town, if you have one restaurant in your town, we're coming there.
For you. Yeah, we're gonna eat your food and we're
eat
gonna
that
talk
food.
about it.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be good.
Where can the people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at _Jared Chandler.
Fuck that guy that took it.
I know, dude. Yeah, I know. And my podcast is called Stretch Yourself on Spotify. And Stella's every Thursday in Greeley. And what was the other thing? My website, jaredchandlercomedy.com.
JaredChandlerComedy.com?
Yeah, I need to update my dates and update the website, but it's there. It exists.
It's been an absolute pleasure, man.
Dude, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.
And you can follow us on YouTube now. Please like and subscribe. Check us out.
And where can people find you?
I mean, I'm around.
Sorry, you're
always working
into
out
it right now.
Come see a show at Comedy Works South. And I'll be in Moab in July, but that would have already happened past. This is coming out on my birthday. Happy birthday to me. I don't give a fuck. I'm an old man now. It's 27. I've got a white lighter in my pocket. Let's see what happens. Fuck off and be well.